Hello everyone, my name is Dark and welcome back to my Deltarune sort of ranking videos. In today's video we are ranking all the bosses in Deltarune based on their canon power. As you can see, Jevil is the lowest. Now you might be wondering why Jevil's the lowest. Out of all the bosses, he does not seem like he should be. But if we're really being realistic, Jevil is probably the lowest ranked of the secret bosses right now. Because he may say he can do everything, but he really can't do everything. I mean, think about it. At the start of the story, when we first meet him, we meet him in a prison. So someone's already locked him away by the time we fight him. He may have reality warping abilities, but he is still locked away by some sort of barricade. That doesn't scream power to me, which is why he is ranked at number 4. Now, I know, I'm fairly certain you can beat him by just fighting him regularly. Obviously, as you can see on screen, I am going for the approach of acting, because I'm trying to be a nice guy. But I am pretty sure you can just do it normally. So, if Chris can do it, a lot of other people surely can. Even if Jevil is a Darkener and Chris is a Lightener, there are still other Darkeners that are stronger. I would argue that Queen might be stronger. Obviously, the Mech Queen, Giga Queen, or whatever it's called, that might be stronger. But other people in this list are just unfortunately more powerful than Jevil. He can't do everything. He can do anything he wants to do, but he can't do it all. Now, the reason I do think they're as strong as they are, though, is because obviously you see the attacks. He is able to change the entire field of play. He's able to make a carousel out of weird duck things, and that could just change the entire order of what you do and how you attack. But also, he is able to heal you by you just pirouetting. So he's also got healing abilities too, which is what makes him so strong, which is what makes him so powerful. Now, it is obviously a shame that he is so weak compared to the rest, because he can't do much. But obviously, he can teleport, he can turn himself into a scythe, create scythes. He can make copies of himself, he can do so much. And obviously, as you're going to see soon, in the upcoming seconds, is that you're going to see his final attack. I always include the final attacks of every single boss in all these videos. And here is Jevil's. So obviously, after you tire him enough, this is what he does. Now this is obviously something that all bosses can do, they sort of change the playing field again. But just look at it. That does scream amounts of his power. But that still does not make him nearly as strong as anyone on the list. Now we will now move on to number 3 on the list, which is of course Spanton Neo. Now Spanton Neo is a tough boss. He is great. He is strong, he knows what he's doing. But unfortunately, he is tied down. He does have his strings tying him down. That does limit his power greatly. He still can't beat Chris, weird route or not, he still can't beat them. But in terms of power, he is mountains stronger than Jevil. Just think of all the things that you've seen him do. There are so many things, I can't even begin to name them all. But I will try. So not only is he able to literally raise his defense to make him completely unbeatable, apart from by obviously Noelle. Like that's an insane feat. But also, assuming that, he could also probably raise his strength up to also match that. It would just make sense that he could do both of those things. He is an insane foe, but just think about that. He can make himself literally unbeatable. Unless, of course, you cheese it with Noelle. But that's already insane. That's way more than Jevil could ever do. His only weakness is his strings. If he managed to cut them all, then he would obviously die. Like, that's it. But that does count as sparing him in the regular sort of run. Now in Snowgrave it's a little bit different. You don't cut his strings, you just sort of cut him. Which is definitely a different sort of variable. Not a lot of people in the story, in all of Deltarune, Lightener or Darkness, will be able to kill this guy. Depleting his HP all the way to 0 is insanely difficult. And not only that, but he can also heal himself with his Pipis, or Peepers, or whatever you want to call it. He can literally heal himself. That's already, like, insane. As you can see, he can also make himself absolutely massive, which is not a lot of things that other people can do. He can transform his own size. That's why I do think he deserves 3rd place out of all these bosses. That doesn't make him insane, but he is definitely really strong. But not as strong as our number 2 pick. Can you guess who it is? If you guessed the Knight, you are correct. The Knight is insanely strong, because not only can the Knight do all these things on screen, he can also open his own portal, which is insane, but also, for some reason, he can just absolutely one-shot Tenor. Tenor is a tough boss. He really does his best, but being able to one-shot him? That's crazy. You can do all these attacks, and you actually cannot beat him story-wise. Not yet, anyway. Story-wise, you could not beat the Knight. You're able to deal, I think, you have to do 70% of his health, or 25%. I can't remember if you have like half of 75% left or anything. I don't remember. But I'm pretty sure it is like a small chunk of his health left. And then he just uses that attack, the swoon attack, that can just one-shot you and knock you down in one clean hit. He is, or I think they are a very tough foe to fight. There is not much you can do to them. They are a very varied boss. They have lots of things they can do. They can create dark fountains, manipulate shadows and space. Basically kind of like Jevil in terms of warping reality. Their sword is able to cut through the actual hitbox itself in Deltarune. The green thing surrounding you, that's the hitbox, and he can literally cut right through that. Not a lot of bosses have that sort of hitbox manipulation, which is a sign of breaking the 4th wall, which obviously does make them stronger. But here is a massive feat of theirs. Summoning a dark world within a dark world and bringing about the Titan itself. That is something that I don't think any other boss could really achieve. That is insane. They also have some insane swordsmanship, which could be due to numerous factors. I just think they were sort of born with these abilities, or created, crafted. Something made them, and whatever that is the strongest boss, of course. But just the ability to create fountains alone isn't something that a lot of them can do. But here we're about to witness one of their best feats. Is their final attack. The same with every boss. Their final attack is one of the most insane ones. This is crazy to watch, but not as crazy as our final pick. You all know who it's going to be. Our number 1 pick is, of course, the man, the myth, Gerson. Gerson is, of course, number 1 on that list for one main reason. He is able to dodge every single goddamn attack. He can do whatever he wants. He can dodge every attack. How is any boss on this list really going to face off against him and come out on top? None of them can. He is essentially the Sans of Deltarune. It's a shame that he is not alive, because him in his prime would be insane. He taught Undyne, for Christ's sakes. He taught Undyne herself. And we've seen how strong she is in Undertale. Undyne and Undyne the Undying is such a formidable boss. And she still gets hit. The only reason Susie is able to beat him in Deltarune is because he obviously lets her. He does go easy on her, and he does decide when enough is enough. But in this boss fight, the only time we hit him is when we cut off just 2 whiskers off his beard. That is it. That is all we can do against him. And as you can obviously see from the clip right now, just his speed alone, where he's able to appear on different sides of the board at any given moment. When we saw Jevil earlier, he can teleport. That's different. Gerson is using his raw speed to be able to transport himself wherever and literally make it seem like he's got his own little clones. And let's not forget about his hammer. That hammer has got some incredible stats. I don't have them up right now, but they are immensely powerful. It is easily one of the strongest weapons in Deltarune that one of the playable characters can wield. It is an insane ability. But let's not also forget that Gerson is the only reason that we could even beat the Titan. Without Gerson, we would not be able to beat the Titan. He is able to smash through the defenses on the Titan's face. That giant star thing, he smashes right through it with no sort of repercussions to him. There is no reason for this old man to be this strong, but he just is. He could take on any single secret boss in the game, even Chris. Even if Chris fought against Gerson, no chance. No chance in hell. For some reason, Gerson is the strongest boss in Deltarune, which is why he is the strongest boss in this entire list. Now, if you did enjoy this list and want to see more things like it in the future, please do let me know in the comments. I would love to make more. I always enjoy making these sort of videos because it allows me to do stuff that I love and talk about games that I love. If you want to see more, please do check out the previous video I've already made on this sort of topic of ranking Deltarune secret bosses. I've been Dark, keeping my viewers, and I will see you all in the next video, whenever that might be. Bye!